What's going on, everybody? Thank you for watching this. I am here with Mike Newmann, Evergreen Home Loans, top 1% in Oregon with loans. Mike was a baseball player. Mike, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad to be here.
Of course. Mike, give us a little background for your sports career before you ever got into your professional life.
Yeah, so from a small little town in Southern Oregon, and was recruited down to Southern California. Started at a junior college, and through a sequence of events, injury, and so on and so forth, brought me back home to recuperate and rehab. Played some semi-pro, was seen by UC Davis, got offered a scholarship, and that's where I finished out my athletic academic career, was at UC Davis.
UC Davis was final stop as far as baseball goes.
Yep.
That's funny too, because I was from a junior college as well. As far as baseball goes, we have a pretty similar backstory with ball, so it's always nice to connect with other people who have experienced the same stuff. So after UC Davis, what ended up happening for you? What did you get into at that time? Was it straight into home loans, or did you do a few things first?
Yeah, no, it was floundering a little bit, actually, thinking that, hey, I graduated from a UC, highest honors, I should be able to write my ticket. Yeah, I found out real quick that that wasn't really the case. I came back home to Southern Oregon and didn't write my ticket right off the bat. So I floundered various kind of sales jobs, call center. Yeah, really floundered. Didn't really know where I was going. And then through a sequence of events, actually at a random sales job, I called on what would become my future manager. She didn't buy what I was selling, but she offered me a job, and I didn't take it at the time, but it piqued my interest. And my mom had worked for a mortgage lender here in the Valley. She said, hey, you would really be good at that. You're really good with people, and obviously being a baseball guy, kind of like numbers. Anyway, so a year later, at my wife's recommendation, she said, hey, why don't you go back to that married gal that offered you a job a year ago, see if that's still on the table. And she hired me on the spot, and the rest is history. So yeah, it was a blessing.
It's crazy how timing affects things, like you're saying, because even though a year prior you had an opportunity, you didn't take it right away, but ever since then, or a year later when you did take the opportunity, have you been in since now? Have you been in since that time?
100%, 18 years.
18 years.
It's weird because I'm like 25, so I don't even know how that works.
That's how you look younger.
So yeah, 18 years in the business. It's unbelievable to me. And I jumped in, with a super young family. We had just had our first child, or boy, who is actually in his senior year, playing ball, following in my footsteps, which was pretty awesome.
I think we know where he's going too.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, University of Oregon. But anyways, so I acquired a daughter through marrying my wife. So I had 2 kids immediately, and I jumped into this 100% commission environment, not even really thinking about it, just like, let's go. And I think that was the athlete in me. I had no fear. Honestly, I had zero fear. Not even realizing it was years later, I was having a phone call with my uncle Jeff, who's a career corporate guy. From 18 years old, he worked his way up the chain, and I'm sure he's got a big fat salary. I don't know what it is, but he's from that world, right? Guarantee world. And he said to me, so wait, you don't have a guarantee on your income? And I'm like, no, I don't. He goes, how in the heck do you do that? And that was the first that I actually thought about it. Was like, well, I don't know. Just do it. And it's been a wild ride, but I wouldn't trade it for anything.
It's interesting how, again, our stories are very similar in that regard, where I did the same thing. I had never even done sales before. I had zero sales experience. Baseball player, had no idea what I wanted to do. I know long-term I want to invest in real estate. So my thought was, well, let's learn as much as I can by just going full force, joining a good team, making sure I have the right coaching and someone else that's actually done what I want to do, the mentorship part.
Yeah.
But it's funny thinking about that, or that you said that, because I never really thought about it either. And even now, sometimes it's scary. It can be scary, but if you have the mindset of, hey, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get the job done, and also to actually serve people and serve our clients and make sure that I'm taking care of them first, you get rewarded for it. And it definitely kind of comes full circle. How much would you say your baseball background or your sports background has helped you with the mindset of not really being afraid to fail, just knowing that it's part of the job?
Yeah. I mean, I give all the credit in the world. I mean, everything I do in my life is ran through the filter of athletics. Everything. I sell by educating, ultimately coaching. All the things that I've learned as far as time management, work ethic, just social intelligence, confidence, the dealing with failure, all the different things that we're coached up on. And again, my career in athletics did not turn out the way I wanted it to, right? Being an athlete and all that kind of stuff. And so that was a disappointment in that sense. And we all want to push the sun up back in the sky a little bit further to be able to transition into a career where it highlights all the things that made you a great athlete. Then you get paid to do that. And like you said, to serve people. It's awesome thing. Super blessed to have really fallen into the business.
Absolutely. It's funny too, because the 5 a.m. waits, the study hall, the full class schedule, the 2-a-day practices, the schedule in college or high school or whatever is pretty crazy, and it's pretty extensive. Yeah. And obviously my goal was to play professional baseball. I committed my entire life to reaching that point. And when you don't reach that point, it's obviously frustrating and you feel defeated at that moment, and it's scary having zero idea, well, hey, what comes next? It's wild to think that getting into a business like this allows you to still keep some of the aspects that you had when you played sports. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you're still competitive all the time, right? You have competition every single day. I know you're always riding bikes and you're always getting after it, taking care of your own health first, which is important. You kind of have an unlimited ceiling. It's up to you in putting in the work, how hard you're willing to work. And ultimately, the better you take care of people, the more you're rewarded for it. So the carryover is pretty wild. And I've definitely experienced that in my own journey too. So it's cool to hear someone else that's kind of gone through the same thing.
Yep. I've always felt that we had a lot in common in that sense. You're just a younger version going through a similar path. So man, it's a fun ride, and at the end of the day, I wouldn't trade it for anything. And like I say, 100%, the athletic background is what set the table for it, and I tap into it every single day. It's all part of the same pie, if you will, and it's a beautiful thing. So,
for those watching that are athletes and maybe don't know what's next, or that are scared, or that have zero idea what comes after sports, do you think in the industry, like being a loan officer or getting into a career in real estate, could be a good opportunity for someone that has a similar background, whether it's volleyball, basketball, football, wrestling, whatever the case is?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, whether it's real estate, lending, sales job in general, I think it fits us so well, because a true good team player, athlete, you don't have anybody to blame at the end of the day but yourself if you didn't get better. The same thing goes for this career. You don't have anybody to blame at the end of the day. So as a lender, I get to see everybody's numbers, right? I get to see everybody's income. And I'll tell you, I've yet to see a collegiate athlete that is not successful in this life. So you have no excuses. You really honestly have no excuses. Sales in general is such a great fit because you're just able to achieve as much as you want to put into it. And that equals success for people who are grinders, and athletes are grinders.
How important would you say it is to get around the right people if you are going to get into a career like this, and make sure that you have proper guidance or coaching, or maybe someone kind of showing you the way?
I mean, that's huge. To have mentorship and the right education and people and energy around you breeds more success. And if you walk into, especially in this day and age, if you walk in trying to do it all on your own, just like anything in life, it's going to be pretty tough. And so humble yourself enough to go, you know what? I don't have it all figured out. I need help, and I'm going to put my time in. Just like, for a baseball player, I'm going to put my time in off the tee. I'm going to do my tee work. I'm going to do the fundamental things every day.
Progression.
No matter what. And then I'm going to keep stacking on to that, and eventually it's going to pay off. Just like baseball, it's day in and day out when sometimes you don't feel like it, but it's that consistency, and sometimes we need the accountability. As much of self-starters as we are as athletes, I don't care who you are, how motivated you are, you need accountability. To enter into a team environment like you have, and have people with experience that can breathe into you, and that energy and stuff, it's invaluable.
Absolutely. I hope you guys take some value from this. If you are in a position where you're not sure what's next, whether you played sports at a high level or you're still playing sports at a high level, take it for what it's worth. If you guys have questions, Mike or I would be happy to answer any questions. Obviously, you can reach out. If you have a question for Mike and you send it to me, I'll let him know. We'll get that answered for you. And ultimately, I hope you guys found a ton of value in this. Mike, I absolutely appreciate having you on.
That was fun.
And thanks a ton, brother.
Yeah, you bet. You bet.